welcome back to Claws of Kausvena. We will get started after a few quick announcements. The first is that this is actually our last live streaming of this limited series. After this, we were going to be doing some pre-recorded stuff, but we will be wrapping up the story afterwards. So this is the last time we'll be able to directly respond to your comments while we yap and such. So, and the other thing is, don't forget to keep coming back to the channel because there are amazing shows every single day. Tomorrow is, I am here. It's the end there, sorry. Tomorrow we have the Harsh Realms, which is at 7 p.m. EST, so make sure to come back for that. My name is Foos, and I am the DM. You can find me here on Twitch at Fuzka, as well as on Twitter at Fuzka_D&D. And I'm going to pass it off to my wonderful cast so they can introduce themselves. I'm going to get started with our very missed Mocha, who was not here the last few times. So welcome back. We're so happy to have you. Let everyone know where they can find you.
I'm back. Hi, everyone. I'm Mocha. You can find me at MochaQT_ on Twitter. That is MochaQT_ underscore because Twitter hates me. And MochaQT on Tumblr and Instagram. I'm currently kind of taking a small little break from social media. Helps the brain a little bit, but you can still go and look at my art, and I'll be around, and I'm here. So there's that too. I'm gonna pass it off to Anita.
Oh, that's me. Find me on. Oh no. Can you hear me? Can people hear me?
It's coming through a little better now, yeah.
Okay. Hey, everybody. It's Anita with the audio trouble. I'm live from Girls from These Worlds. You can find me at Anita the Lesbian on Twitter and on TikTok. Yeah, that's about it. I will pass it off to Nenners. Nenners, take it away.
Okay, I'm Nenners. You can find me at the Fuzka Twitch, where we have some competingly dark campaigns, although I'm pretty sure hers is in the lead by a commanding amount, especially based on the last weekend. But I play Plek, and hopefully he survives again tonight. And that's it. I'll pass it over to Kristen.
Oh, hey, Kristen House. You can find me at Twitch, Kristen House, and Twitter, Kristen _House, because Twitter hates me too, because, wow, literally every variation of my name was taken. Yeah, and that's where I post about things that I'm up to, so that's your best bet at knowing what's going on, and I am gonna toss it down to Lynn.
Hey everyone, I'm Lynn, Gremlin Art, pretty much everywhere, social media. You can find my art and what I'm doing throughout the week. And yeah, I am playing Lani Tana. The
Did you forget something, Kristen?
I realize I didn't introduce my character, but
I didn't either.
You can do that now, and then we'll go back to Mocha and she can introduce her character.
I'm so sorry, Lynn. You just, gave me the brain blast. You can finish first.
No, I'm done.
Oh, okay. Hi, playing Zosha, the anxious tiefling wizard who's learning a lot about herself.
And Mocha is playing.
I'm playing Chrysanthemum, the witch who's just kind of here. Not by choice.
I also forgot to introduce my character. I'm Kami.
We're just playing ourselves.
I'm a Yanti druid, and I have a fascination with dangerous women. That's me.
Well-oiled machine here, folks. We're killing it already. But we are going to get started with a little bit of a recap so we can get everyone's mind back into it, and then we'll kind of dive back in. So, as a sort of overall recap, as most of these characters have mentioned, they're not here by choice. After being called to the aid of a goddess that they have now kind of confirmed is a deity of some kind, they were pulled into what seemed to have been a corrupt forest. Plenty of mushrooms that did not seem very natural, all kinds of fungus life. And interestingly enough, not a lot of wildlife other than that. They did meet a spider who was sort of starving in the beginning and encountered not once but twice a band of emaciated goblins doing their best to survive in the environment. But after kind of trying to keep them alive and it not really working out, they stumbled upon a cleric who was under attack by these goblins and ogres and tried to persuade them to leave. Some did, most did not. And after that fight, they were able to kind of get a few more answers from this mysterious cleric, who seems to be a follower of the goddess who actually called for help. And he introduced himself as Neville, and seeming a little wary of the group, he at first just wanted to kind of get everyone to safety and find out why everyone was there. But after realizing that you were all called here and his goddess was the reason you were here, he decided to lead you back to his temple. So following him and walking through the forest, thankfully unbothered, where you guys actually got a little bit of a short rest in on the way, you made it to a graveyard where he was unfortunately tasked with the responsibility of burying many of his followers, fellow followers of Yoriana, the goddess. The temple was very secluded in this forest, but there was a healthy following here. And apparently they had sustained a very, very deadly attack, and he seemed to be the only one who survived. So as he was stuck there, he was busy burying them and paying his respects to them as well. The team sort of split up, some of them going into the temple to take a look, and Plek staying outside to use this opportunity to get a full body workout and help Neville bury the bodies. Once inside the temple, the team there was able to kind of confirm that there was a bad attack here. There were attempts to kind of clean it up, but it looked like there had also been siege damage done to the actual temple itself. So it wasn't only that the individuals inside were attacked, but the building as well. And my cat is here. I don't know if you can hear him, but he's on his way. So after figuring that out and stepping back outside, on the way out, Kristen was rolling incredibly that night. And she, with her awesome investigation roll, was able to take notice of one particular gravestone. Since most of them had very recently been carved into, she was able to recognize that this name was Neville. And strangely enough, that matched the name of the cleric that you had met not too long ago. So a little discussion was had between the team of what to do with this new information. But in general, Lanitana decided it was a good thing to talk out instead of perhaps attack first and ask questions later. After a decent conversation, the truth did come out. And this was not Neville. Neville's body was indeed in that grave that was buried. But his name was Jata, and he has almost always been a follower of Yoriana, and unfortunately, accidentally led his followers to their downfall. And feeling extreme guilt, he is believing that his goddess brought him back in the way he did. He's intent to see this through and to fight Kausvena and hopefully clear out the forest along with you guys. So after telling you his real name, his purpose, he wanted to help you guys as best he can. And even offered a ring to Lanitana, who declined at the time and made sure that he had it instead. But he made note that he knows exactly where Kausvena is, where to find her, and hopefully you guys can come up with a plan to bring her down and hopefully cleanse the forest. And that was more or less where we ended last episode. So we're going to get started with the team all outside in the graveyard, but Lanitana and Jata kind of finishing their conversation and speaking with everybody as a group. I will also mention, for my own homebrew rules, there's an inspiration out every single session, and Mocha was gone for a little while, and it was hers, but we passed it along to the other players. So right now, Mocha, you have the inspiration for the night.
Oh, cool.
if you forgot how that works, because I use inspiration a little bit differently, I do have a little handout at the top of your journal. So if you ever want to check that out, you can go ahead. But with inspiration out and a little recap, I believe we are all set. So you guys can pick up with your kind of getting all of this information, a little bit of lore dump, and Jata introducing himself by his real name to the rest of the group again.
I think I'm still digging, right?
I believe you stopped because you were like very wary after you found out he was not Neville, but you are welcome to resume digging if you would like.
Oh no, yeah, because we found out he wasn't. You guys were we weren't fighting. I remember he's back to digging. So
Okay.
Flex digging.
Like it's right back to digging. Oh gosh, but Jata is still kind of clutching his hand shut, holding the ring very tightly. Just looks over the rest of the group. As I mentioned, I do know where to find Kausvena. I've also managed to find, I suppose, keys. We can't simply walk up to her. Wherever she is, she has locked it away from those who are not followers of Malar. Her cultists, well, the few I was able to bring down, had these and a bit of information with them. Instructions, I believe. He digs through his pockets and comes out with a small gemstone that seems to be kind of like a yellow, cloudy. If it were clearer, it would look similar to topaz, but it's about 2 or 3 inches, and clearly not well taken care of, as it is sort of scuffed and dirty, but seems to have a soft glow to it at the same time, even in the moonlight. And he pulls out another one, kind of similar in care, not well maintained, but a dark red gem as well. But he holds both of these out. I have a feeling that this has something to do with their representation. I know they're obsessed with blood, and Malar is also known as the black-blooded god. So this might have something to do with that, and I'm not entirely sure about this. But from what I've read, these are keys of some kind. And I believe they will let us into wherever Kausvena dwells when she's not hunting.
Yeah, I think that Kami is just going to sit and listen. Is his voice different than it was like when he was talking to us before?
No, it has remained the same.
Okay.
That sort of scratchy, gravelly.
All right. I think Kami is going to listen to all this information and turn to Lanitana and say, do you believe him?
Yes, we do. I believe that he had concerns about his place here, but I don't think there's any deception on what he truly wants.
Dad, I think that I think Kami will accept that for now. But like turn back to them and just like give a terse nod before like sort of like asking where we have to go to like get to her.
It's a bit of a journey. 2.5 hours through the forest. It's a bit of a journey when there are cultists along the way. I did my best to avoid them, but I don't think I'm not entirely sure if I saw exactly where she is, but I know she's in that direction. By the time I was caught, there seemed to have been a rather dense concentration of mushrooms. Spores through the air, but it doesn't affect me as much. So it might be a problem for you, those who need to breathe, that is. And not only that, but there seemed to have been an orange, perhaps, water. I'm not entirely sure how to describe it, but I heard the sound of running water, but all I saw was something, perhaps a yellowish orange. To be quite honest, it reminded me of an infection, but I didn't get close enough to find out.
Interesting.
Not the word I would use.
I'm not too worried about the spores. I've been in some pretty nasty places before. And she like starts to pull out what looks like a piece of fabric that like has 2 layers to it. That like looks like it's a face mask basically. As well as like just like holds up her mask. But so I was in my head for a little moment. These crystals you said were key to finding her, defeating her.
To reaching her. I don't believe they will help us fight her.
Right.
I believe these are perhaps literal keys to doors that will lead us to her.
Right. You wouldn't happen to know if, like, around your temple or there might be things that could help us at all? Or are we just kind of walking into this? I'm glad for your help, don't get me wrong. Like,
unfortunately, most of those items are... He kind of like looks off to the graves beside him. Recently buried. And I am personally averse to disrupting where they lay.
She Chrysanthemum looks at Plek like, you didn't. She's not saying it, but she's like,
You'll hear it in your head. Like, want me to keep digging?
You didn't think to grab anything? I forget if I can respond. I can respond in my head, right?
Yeah, you can absolutely. I'll be honest with you. All I've seen is dirt and rocks.
Right,
I
but you were burying bodies, right?
Not yet. They discovered the plot, if you will. If I find anything, I'll let you know.
So there's not. So he's currently digging the graves, but the bodies are otherwise like scattered around this. Like,
yeah, I will also know or mention that Mocha does know that like probably a good 70% of the bodies are already buried. At this point, Plek and Jata were just digging the bodies for the rest, or digging the graves for the rest, essentially.
Okay.
So.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. No, it's okay. Don't worry.
Does
what about the rest?
I'm sorry. Like, does a yellow river mean anything to Kami? Nature-wise, religion-wise?
I would say actually you can give me either role, nature or religion.
Okay. That sounds like something that sounds like something that happened in like a Moses story, like one of the came to Egypt. So I'll go with religion.
Let's go. Okay. A 12. All right. So as you think back on this, you are reminded of Malar, and much like Jata said, he is known as a blood god of some kind. And You haven't done a ton of studying on Malar. He was usually a kind of a despicable god, especially one from a nature background such as yourself. But you have a mixture of knowledge of religion and also what is sort of found in the natural world. And mushrooms are heavy on the mind right now. As they have been mentioned before, you run into some, and apparently Kausvena can listen and speak through some. So, with that information on your mind, you do know that blood, perhaps, if infected and if perhaps used in ritual, can change color. And it might just be that color.
So I may be getting the sense that like something very huge is bleeding into a water source.
It's with a 12, it's hard to perfectly put it together. But where the source is coming from, you're unsure. But most likely that is a perverse, polluted, fungus-riddled, infected body of blood water.
Lovely.
So, like, listen, Neville, not Neville. I like, you know, this information and your willingness to help is great, but you know, what are some actionable items? You know, some key next steps we could actually take instead of floundering around here and getting consumed by like mushrooms or something in the meantime.
I mean, his action was taking us there.
Yeah, but I don't know that we're prepared for that, is my concern.
I don't think we're prepared, no, but...
So, like, Neville, not Neville, do you have any tips?
Jata.
I'm just confused. 2
I
days
understand.
in less than a day, it's a lot.
It's even more confusing waking up in a body that's not yours.
Oh.
Yeah, that's
But I understand what you mean. I have one last attempt to get help from Yuriana, and it resides in the temple. I will likely need your help to reach it, though. And if there is one other thing we can ask for help, it's there.
Of course.
Zosha's immediately pointing at Lanitana. Lanitana is on it. Lanitana's great with that stuff.
I worry it might be more physical solution. The side that Kausvena managed to collapse, I suspect she knew. But there is a shrine of sorts, a bit underground, but that was the only way in.
Well, good thing we're all really beefy. We're all so muscly, and clearly we were all picked for that reason. And we are now here to do what you need.
There are magical solutions too, I'm sure, but...
Yeah, there are. I'm just giving you a hard time.
You need something lifted?
Oh yeah, Plank, jump back out!
He's gonna Hulk jump out.
Out of the grave!
Oh, it's so cool when you do that! It's so cool!
Oh my God.
He's gonna be covered in dirt and sweat, but...
Yeah, let's see what we can do. And if nothing else, then I can give you perhaps a little bit more information on those cultists that I did find, and their tactics, and as much information as I can give you.
Well, why not both? While we're trying to dig up whatever, talk.
We can do that. We can do that. Yeah. Follow me. And he kind of turns to step into the temple. His gait seems to have changed a little bit, whereas before there was a sort of stiffness to it, perhaps. Whereas now there seems to be more of a rush, more of an urgency,
Mhm.
and perhaps a little more direction now that perhaps the truth was unveiled to you, or perhaps he realizes just how willing you are to fight alongside. But he turns towards the temple and leads you guys in. And much like the rest of you had seen, Plek, this is kind of new for you, but everyone else had stepped inside the temple before. But there seems to be a smaller right wing that had been mostly kept intact, but it seemed to have maybe been a room or two, maybe for prayer, maybe for something simple, nothing too ornate or extravagant on that side. But the left side seemed to have been completely demolished. And from what you could see, it looked like perhaps any activity was likely had on that wing that is no longer there, as this room is simply a rather beautiful fountain, and likely a place for sort of visitors or anyone to kind of come and pray, especially with the windows in the ceiling to kind of let the moonlight in, and it does reflect off the water of the fountain there very nicely. But as he turns towards the left side, there are two doorways, one of which is barely a doorway. There's about a foot or so of threshold you can see at the bottom where it meets the ground, and the rest of it is simply rubble. Whereas the other is a good maybe 5 feet of the threshold had survived before the rest had caved in. And as he walks up to them, he motions towards the one that is mostly destroyed. And of course, this is the direction we need to go in. And he kind of stops and looks over, and you guys can see that there are boulders and rocks about the size of Plek kind of piled up in this doorway. And if not that, then simply dirt of some kind. But it is wreckage and rubble, very, very tall and very heavy looking in the way.
I'll start. Chrysanthemum will start casting Mage Hand while Blingus meows judgingly at her attempts to just like, she'll use the Mage Hand to like dig like the dirt and like loosen anything so that the larger rocks and boulders that she wouldn't be able to really handle are like a bit easier for others.
Mm-hmm. So like working around.
Yeah.
Sure, no problem. It's not not a lot to see, but I'm just going to move you guys over so you can get a vague idea of what's going on. So, whoops, that's a cone. Don't need that. This door is the one that's mostly up, but the door over here is the one that you're trying to get into, and is super fucked, to put it in simple terms.
Yeah.
Yes.
Word.
Is that broom right there actually on the map?
It is on the map. It is indeed.
Look down.
Chrysanthemum's gonna stop and like narrow her eyes and step over and like nudge it with her foot.
It slides, much like you were expecting a broom to move.
She'll pick it up and just start sweeping some of the dirt away.
And as you do, you can tell that this is a well-worn broom. And looking around, especially as you came in here before with the rest of your team, this area was attempted to be cleaned as best as he could. So that broom was very recently used. But yeah, it's a broom and it starts sweeping.
DM's evil trick is that the potential flying broom is just a
Joke's
broom.
on you, I can make one.
Well then, never mind.
Give me 2 levels that we might not even get to.
I got this, guys. I got a ding though. Hold on.
I got this. I gotta think twice.
No problem. Oh my gosh.
I think Kami wants to step forward and like look at the doorway and like, if we move these bricks and these like stones that have fallen, will the temple collapse? Is Like, how structurally sound is this? Is this a safe thing that we can attempt to do?
You can do an investigation check.
Okay.
You like move a boulder and just the whole building collapses on you.
I mean, that's one way to end the campaign right there. Just-
I know, right? Guys, just kidding. We don't need to have those pre-recorded.
Oh, you rolled
episodes. Everyone's dead.
Oof. All right.
That's
Ooh,
rough.
investigation. Not proficient.
Nice.
Let's see.
No, you got a good roll though. With a 16, taking a look around, much of the destruction was aimed at this wing. So Kami is pretty confident that if anything collapses, it'll be on this side, and the rest of it, especially like the center of this temple, is very much reinforced and seems to be pretty stable.
Bet. I will go ahead and just ask Simon to just like take some rocks in the jaw and like carefully get them out. Like,
Yeah.
snake mouths aren't designed for like things to be spit out. So like very carefully, like, all right, just like put it in your mouth and then open your mouth, let it drop. Like,
That's amazing.
it's
So-
not like the strength
Relax
is the
the
problem.
jaw.
It is like getting my snake not to eat bricks. That is.
Right. So he's kind of using his mouth as like a glorified shovel. It's kind of like scooping something up, moving, and then dumping. That's awesome. They are big. However, your snake is very strong. So I'll have him roll a strength check, but this is just to see like how efficiently he's doing it, because he can absolutely do it with his strength. It's just a matter of seeing perhaps how long it would take, and how smooth that is going.
Boy. Alright, Simon. Natural ones. You can't eat rocks.
Please don't eat rocks, Simon.
Please don't eat rocks.
Please don't eat rock.
Oh gosh. I'm sorry. I'm
No,
having
it's
a little
okay.
bit
No worries.
of trouble. How do I make my snake be? Roll 20, everybody. I'm learning it.
Yeah, you can take your time if there's anything anyone else wants to do, so you're not rushed. Anybody else, if you wanted to try anything, you
She's
can go.
gonna inspect the broom a little further. Just like quietly when no one's noticing, she's just like
Taking your broom.
like
It's
she
mine.
like examines the handle to like trying to find like a rune, and then if someone notices, she's like
Just helping.
listen, I'm not strong. You know this.
Yeah.
I'm not wasting a spell circle on this.
And you helped with the mage hand, so I would say that actually that would lower the DC for Simon a little bit.
Plek would try to get some of the medium ones out of the way. For the big ones, if we have no other way of using it, he'll try to use like his strength and telekinetic movement at the same time.
You could
See
also
if he can.
do a lever system, or not a
Yeah,
lever.
with-
What is it? The freaking. You know what I'm trying to say. No, I don't remember which one it is. The different fucking physical systems.
The lever.
Yeah, lever.
Jam it in there.
I don't know.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, if Plek wants to lift the larger rocks, I think Laitana will offer maybe some assistance from the Path of Light would assist in your efforts if you were okay with that.
What does that entail?
I will pray. Do a little bit of a ceremony right here. It doesn't involve anything from you.
Okay, Are
And they will
we
help.
gonna rest when we're done with this?
We better. We really better.
So yeah, I'm gonna cast that means like enhance ability on Plek.
Nice.
So with both strength, so you have advantage on strength checks and your carrying capacity doubles.
Oh my god.
And she will help. She will help. I mean, they will help as much as they can. Like being
Yeah,
small.
that's tremendous.
Nice. Yeah, that is huge. So You can roll me an advantage athletics check.
Also, the ceremony, like if you're not like in like aware, it's a lot of sitting for like 10 minutes in front of a candle and like how to pray, like praying in a language you definitely don't understand.
So what is the thing we're looking for? And Zosha's just gonna like not be touching anything, but like be looking around everywhere she can.
And as this is happening, I will mention, like, Jetta is helping as well. Like, he's kind of shimmying rocks around. And anytime there's like you could pinch your fingers, he just kind of sticks his whole hand in there, not concerned with any kind of damage that could be done. But he's going to help as well. And with all these good rolls, he's not going to have advantage, but he's just going to roll for his strength check. And okay.
Wow.
He's doing real good. He's in the zone. And
sorry.
Get in the zone. So as he's doing this, there's a moment where as Lanitana is enhancing ability and everyone's kind of like finding their ways to help and pitch in, it feels as though one of the moonbeams that was coming through the holes in the ceiling kind of shifts over just a little bit to kind of fully encompass Jata. And he doesn't even seem to recognize it, but continues going about and is very effectively moving some of these boulders right now, as well as Simon and Plek at the same time. So I had a certain like timetable and like DC set up, and you guys crushed it. So whereas this could have taken up to 2 hours, I think with your awesome rolls, it'll probably take you like 30 minutes or so.
Nice.
So you guys are flying.
I thought for a second, like, where'd that moonbeam come from? Who's casting that?
He just gets crisped because of like radiant.
Surprise!
You ever been just moving boulders and someone just decides to like fricassee you in
you.
the middle of it? But he starts doing that. As he's doing that, though, he starts kind of explaining what he does know about the cultists. And unlike Plek and sometimes, well, not really. Simon is a magical creature, so he probably isn't really bothered by it too much. But Plek is the only one who's kind of like huffing and showing any physical response to the work that he's doing, even though it's not terribly hard because he has bull strength right now. You know, just the getting the blood pumping kind of thing. But Jata speaks with an even tone, even as he's showing effort. But he'll mention, now they prize themselves on death up close, so they will do their best to close the distance on you no matter what. And any spells they use are often to make sure they can hold you still so they can run up and hit you. I don't think you plan on having him out, but he points towards Simon. I don't suggest he remains out. They have some kind of an ability to manipulate animals, I believe. Even the magic kind. So I worry your friend may be targeted if you bring him. I will also mention that while they don't have many spells, they still do damage from a distance, I suppose is what I should say. They have no problem clipping the wings of their prey before they run in. So, understand that mobility is very important for them, and they will do their best to try and claw or slice you to death. A few of them have very large swords. Oh, there was one. I'm not sure I know what it is. A beast-man hybrid of some kind, maybe. Very tall, maybe 12 feet tall or so. Had horns and claws, a mostly humanish face, but otherwise covered in fur. I didn't get a chance to find out what that thing does, but I did see it at some point. Something else to just keep an eye out for.
Have I heard of a creature like that before?
Ooh,
Either in my work as a witch, like that I have done, or like on wanted posters, or have heard from my coven.
I would say, because you have a spooky background, you can give me a history check.
There is one background.
No! spooky background natural too.
Ain't heard shit.
Yeah, no, yeah, that's some weird shit that you're not sure what that means. Unfortunately.
That's
I'm
fucking
also,
weird.
I'm also kind of a nature person. Like,
Mhm.
I would like to think now about like, hey, have I heard about any beings like Kausvena or like any other animal people that have nature magic?
All right. I think it would also be a history check for this particular one. I'll say history or nature actually, because again, you're leaning on the nature side as well, so you can choose between the two.
All right, I'm having trouble accessing my character sheet right now.
Okay, that's all right.
I know my bonus is +6, so I'm
Okay.
just gonna do the automatic
Slash
roll thing.
All right, sounds good. No worries. Oh my god, you are rolling so good. Maybe you should roll like this all the time, because I feel like your rolls when you do slash roll is great right now. All right. So
Just thinking about Kausvena, and the memories come a little bit.
something about it clicks with you a little bit. For you, there's a combination of things that kind of seem to be lining up, and that's kind of where you're piecing things together. Exactly what he described, you have not heard of, but you piece together your background information of this is a god with the moon in his profile, and he is a god of beasts as well. You haven't come across it specifically, but the moon and the beasts and a humanoid, perhaps a lycanthrope of some kind. But you've never heard of one with horns. That's pretty unusual. And you did see, or I believe Mocha mentioned it to the group, but Kausvena started to change forms on her way out. And it almost seemed as though it was spurred on by the damage that was done to her, perhaps, or perhaps her thrill for the fight of some kind, or maybe she was losing control. But maybe these are were beasts of some kind. Just maybe something you've never encountered before.
While Shata is like telling this and like we're picking rocks up, like Simon's gonna like come to me with rock in their mouth, and I'm just gonna be off in the distance, like face glowing, like brilliant lycanthrope. That is interesting. Oh, I'm sorry. I think if anyone have any knowledge of were creatures of any kind, this might be what we're dealing with.
Simon, please spit out the rock. Please spit
Can
it
I-
out.
I dig into my,
it is halfway down the throat at this point. Gotta.
Sosha's like flailing, panicking, like, Simon, you can not again, Simon.
I feel like Zosha was watching Simon the whole time though, so I kind of want you to roll an animal handling check to see if you can help this situation, or if this magic snake is gonna have a rock for dinner. Oh.
Oh no.
You attempt, but the muscle memory is there. So just kinda, you guys watch as like boulder's shape kind of pushes out of his neck a little bit, and he doesn't seem at all disturbed by it. He's just kind of like whoops, and then resumes. Like,
I am now heavier.
Simon, you were raised better than this. And the Sosha's just gonna turn away.
As you're saying that, you watch the bulge like slowly move down his like stomach. Too late.
Can I dig into my brain for lycanthropy? Because I feel like
yes,
I probably would have dealt with that. Or
with your spooky background, let's go.
Maybe history or nature. is better.
I imagine it is. If you can give me a good argument for nature, I will let you have that. But I think right now it's history. But I will let you plead your
green
case.
witches, their expertise comes from like finding balance in nature and things that are not in balance with nature, like Anthropos happen. Listen, it's a long day. I had work today. I'm trying.
I'm gonna give it to you as your welcome back gift. Go ahead and
So
roll
on
nature
that
check.
note, then can Zosha think about them in terms of history?
Yeah, actually, no. As a wizard, I would let you give that a shot. Go for it.
Yeah, that actually helps me give a better argument.
Yeah. Oh my
It's the dealing in practical, not necessarily like
nice.
history of lycanthropy and like in terms of like origin and like stuff like that. It's practical knowledge of like, all right, if you deal like field training kind of stuff for nature.
Gotcha. Understood. And Kristen, I will get to your number in just a second, so I'll go through her nature check first. And coming from the nature angle of this and what your coven and such had likely discovered, also part of your spooky background, as it does make sense. All lycanthropes are not the same. There are some who, after being turned or perhaps born into it, they tend to kind of lean towards certain characteristics, most of which tend to be sort of chaotic or uncontrolled. There are some that are good and that lean towards a more lawful way of life and kind of lean into society and kind of blend in a little bit better. They go all over the place. But there is one thing that is a constant between any lycanthrope, and that is that they have a weakness to silvered weapons. It doesn't matter what kind they are. If you have a silver weapon of some kind, you will do extra damage to them. The other thing is, the horns still kind of confuses you. You've heard of bears and tigers and rats, and of course wolves, but you never heard of horns. And you kind of get stuck on that point, thinking that through. But you do at least kind of, especially with Chrysanthemum's background of like, I find the weakness, whether that's a potion or, a certain kind of weapon that I'm going to use, you kind of lean on that sort of silvered weapon would be most helpful right now. Kristen, Kristen's role I'm saying your name and not your character's name. Zosha, there we go, I did it. Took a while, my brain is real good today. Zosha, kind of thinking about her information and what she could kind of pull up on lycanthropes. There have been, in some sort of like some twisted kind of oogie boogie scary fairy tale kind of stories, there have been rumors of sort of tailor-made lycanthropes. You've never heard of one in person. They always were just kind of like, that big bad beast is going to get you, and it's a weird amalgamation of all of the beasts. But the more you're hearing about it, the more it's sounding like this might be one. Maybe this is Millar's experiment, and being one that is tied with lycanthropes, maybe they were chosen by him. Maybe they're special for whatever reason it might be. But they are likely a mix of all the deadly aspects of any beast put into one were creature. And that's what you kind of get from your history check.
Yeah, Zosha will just relay that to everybody. So she'll spread the knowledge.
Kami looks a little too excited at the information that you relay, and a little too interested, like for her.
Chrysanthemum will just be eyeing her very like suspiciously. Like, Still, somehow that doesn't surprise me that people would try to mutate or make their own.
As you say that, you see Jata's like brows furrow. That doesn't surprise you?
With what I've seen and heard? No.
With what I've read? No. I mean, I read about that. That's how I know about it. So, like, there's all kinds of stuff out there.
This also fits because we did see Kausvena transform partially into
Yes.
something else.
I believe she was whatever she transforms into when she was here. So what did she look like when you saw her?
What did she transform into? Hold on.
Like a quadrupedal,
She looked,
very strong.
like.
I mean, before
Mostly-
the beast part, I guess.
Mostly humanoid with the. Where is it?
Yeah, she was, covered in furs and leathers and
Big
she
oak
was really
skull.
confident and strong and horrible person, terrible, awful, the worst. That's what I remember about her. So it's just like
She's
looking
pretty
at her
tough.
looking at her notebook like
She did have a giant elk skull.
Humanoid. A beautiful, like, elk sort of mask with, like, large antlers. Very tall. Sharp teeth. Memorable.
I
Powerful. Does this match with what you saw of her?
no. She looked like a person, I guess. For you, not really when she was here. We knew about her name because of the other clerics and worshippers had found information through Oriana about it, but she was very much a beast.
I mean, she did start turning into one towards the end of our fight, but she departed.
I was under the
Also,
impression that was her default form.
Important to note, she did not want to fight off the bat. So, perhaps it was just a less threatening form for the purpose of speaking.
That's a
Yeah.
good point. If you saw her in a beast form, she was probably already just raring to go.
Huh.
Yeah, she kind of like stopped the fight, upset that we weren't strong enough for her yet. So that was interesting.
I will add to that detail and say that is unique to her. The other cultists don't seem to care whether you are ready for the fight or not.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I feel like you've all experienced a lot more than I have. None of this seems to stun you, and while I am impressed and grateful, I am a little surprised, I guess. He's just like continuing to move the rocks, but at this point, you guys are almost done. You've managed to kind of clear your way a good like 20 feet into this area, and he's sort of making sure that you're digging like pretty much a tunnel in the direction where you need to go, so nothing extra is cleaned out other than what is mandatory at that point. But you guys see that you're kind of weaving your way through this incredible amount of rubble, and probably another few minutes left, but he also mentions the door that leads downstairs is here, and I hope it was reinforced enough for that not to collapse too, because if it did, then getting down might be interesting. But cross that bridge when we get there, I guess.
Can Zosha like wait a second before following into the tunnel and do like a quick like looky-loo to see if anybody's around, like following us?
Oh, can yeah.
What would you like me to roll for that?
If you're doing a quick looky-loo, then perception, please.
Yeah, I don't. Oh, this is gonna be bad. I just know it.
Okay, that's not terrible. And Lynn, were you about to say something? I didn't know.
I said, if we're going into the tunnel, Liontonic can go first. Just to
Okay,
kind
gotcha.
of, like,
So, not a problem.
It really doesn't matter if it's like pitch black down here. It's a little
good. They're good. They're good.
Yeah.
But before everyone comes in, Zosha does her little looky-loo, just kind of taking a look around. Seems clear. Nothing alarming out here.
Great. I'm confident in that.
The player is not. The character is.
Yeah, so she'll just cast dancing lights for everybody and like have it float above everyone's heads as we're making our way through the little tunnel.
Thank you. But he continues leading you guys, and with Simon, who thankfully doesn't have too much trouble fitting in, even though he has a rock in his belly, but he's like, what the hell?
I feel like Simon's a little big for this. So I'm going to revert Simon into a walking stick.
Okay.
And be very hesitant to like go into the shrine of the goddess that threw a meteor at me and then kidnapped me. Like, especially going underground in this like unstable sort of position. Really doesn't want to go, but like everyone else is going, and like it would be bad form.
Right.
So takes a deep breath and takes up the rear, following down.
Alright, sounds good. I will say, when you create your staff, you do notice there's just like the smallest little knot of wood in the stomach area as it reforms. But you're pretty positive the next time you summon him it won't be there, but just because it was a very recent thing, it's gonna look a little different on the staff.
As we go down, I'm gonna have Blingo keep his nose out for like any strange, like odd scents that might be any cause for concern. Like if there's suddenly like an acidic smell in the air, or suddenly he smells a creature that is not us, kind of thing.
Okay, sure.
Because he has a good nose.
He does have a good nose. Does he need to breathe as a familiar? Because you guys are kicking up a decent amount of like dust and debris. So if he doesn't need to breathe, then I'll say that you can roll this regularly. But I don't know if familiars do. So if they don't, then you can. I feel like he doesn't.
I don't know.
It's just
because they're magic. It like magic. Huh.
Magic.
I've never thought of. I mean,
I imagine they don't. I don't know if they say like, you know, your familiars don't need to breathe. They don't need to eat and sleep. So right, like, anyway, yeah. I'll say they don't need to breathe. Go ahead and roll your perception regularly. The more I think about it, the more I'm like, wouldn't that suck if they were like, they don't need to eat or sleep, but they have to breathe? Like,
I don't think I
weird.
To
yeah.
Advantage, so I'll just roll twice for him.
Okay, go for it.
Oh wait, I can do advantage. Cool. Good thing he can still get his little sniffer out there.
Just a little bit better than Zosha, but hey, you know, we're climbing up. But he is on the lookout as you guys make your way through. I will say, when you're getting closer to it, there is a moment where through the rocks you actually start seeing some light kind of coming through. Even though it seems as though there's maybe a trap door of some kind, a door that leads down that you have to go down the stairs to go reach. But even from this distance, you can see a little bit of light kind of peering through in that area. And as Jota kind of makes it out, you see him looking relieved. I think it's intact. Also, I've only been down here once or twice a while ago, so I don't remember everything about it. Don't assume that I have all your answers or that I'm lying to you. I'm just letting. Anyway, it just kind of like goes back to moving rocks, just feeling kind of a little awkward in this moment, but resumes kind of helping moving everything out. And eventually, I will say, because he's a cat, I think he's gonna start smelling like vegetation, not of the fungus variety, but leafy greens. Something up ahead seems to carry the heavy scent of plant life.
Can I have him go on ahead and hold on, let me pull up actually find familiar because it's been a while. I'm gonna have him go on ahead.
It's been a while.
That like low effort one was
Uh,
the best.
I'm gonna just like very casually put my hand on Jenna's shoulder. Hold on for a moment. And I will go. I will put my vision into Blingo's as he kind of creeps forward to like check out what vegetation it is. I want to
Okay.
have him go on ahead a bit.
So he's gonna try and squeeze through the rocks and like the rest of it to make his way in.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I misunderstood. Yeah. Once there's like a big enough hole for him, because he's just
Yeah.
like a normal sized cat right now.
That's fine. I will say you do make it through most of it before Jata kind of points out that the door did get smashed in. However, the walkway down the stairs do seem to be
Paid actor.
It was just a drive-by meow. He didn't even come to me. He just walked by me, like, yelled at me and ran off to go yell at my husband, I guess. Anyway.
Bingo literally being like, yeah, we get it.
Yeah, your cat always talks at the right times. Anyway, he mentions that it looks like the walkway is okay. So I would say, like, as everyone's kind of pulling the last of the rocks out of the way, that Boingo can kind of head on down. And find familiar, you guys can speak telepathically for a certain distance, right?
Yes.
Do you know how long?
100 feet.
100 feet. Okay, no problem.
No, it's fine. Paid actor.
The timing is perfect. So he heads on down the stairs a little bit before everyone else, as I imagine Jata and Plek kind of finish up making sure it's safe, so that when you go down, there's not going to be a rock that kind of just slides down the stairs or the walkway after you guys. But he heads down, and in your telepathic connection, you hear, it's kind of dark down here, but stairs? Lots of stairs. Stairs, more stairs. I'm going down the stairs. I'm also telling you about the stairs as I'm go. Oh. So, like, he kind of trails off, and everyone else kind of at the top of the stairs, you start to hear what sounds like stone kind of grinding against stone. A little similar to the sound of you guys kind of moving the rocks a moment ago, but this sounds a little different, and for Chrysanthemum specifically, the sound only happened once you heard your familiar go, oh.
What did I see it through his eyes?
Oh, you're looking through his eyes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so were you doing that the whole time?
Yeah. That's
Okay,
why I wanted him to go forward. I wanted to like view. I wanted to
Got it.
VR.
Yeah, my bad. I thought you were just like getting there.
POV cat.
Sure. So as you're heading down these stairs, it is dark towards where you guys are. Thankfully, the dancing lights that Zosha put up made it pretty light. But kind of worming his way down, there does seem to be a light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak. There is a walkway that kind of goes down, and partially they're stairs. They almost feel like really big ledges instead, just because they're very, very long and flat. But it does descend in a sort of spiral pattern down, and you can see, and he can see also, that the light is getting brighter and brighter. And at the end, there seems to be sort of a almost like the top half of a hexagon shaped door. It's not sort of a regular square, but instead kind of has two slants to it and one on top. But as he sees that doorway, there seems to be bright light on the other side, kind of sparkling and shimmering as well. And as he steps up, not through the threshold, but just enough to kind of see what's on the other side, you can see overgrown bushes and plants and just foliage that has seemingly been untamed in this room, kind of hovering over all the edges of this room, which also seems to be vaguely circular from what you can see. And in the center, which is gathering and spreading most of the light, seem to be those crystals that all of you have become quite familiar with. Rather large in this particular room, but the grinding and the stone moving that you could hear in the center of this, on a very, very large platform, seems to be the stone statue of a woman in armor with a sword and a shield. And as Blingo, whatever his name is today, stepped in and kind of made eye contact with the statue turned in place and the head kind of moved and then made direct eye contact with the cat as her eyes started to light up with that same kind of glow that the crystals have as well. And that's when he started, oh.
Did he like start backing up?
I imagine he was just like, she is making direct eye contact with him, but she is not moving more than that.
Okay. Oh, stop being dramatic, but she's not doing anything. She just moved.
She's not doing anything now. How about I wait for you guys?
Yes, that's fine. She will say out loud, I can't hear any of your responses right now because I'm still listening through my cat, but it seems there's a statue down there and it turned to see Blingo, so it knows. It's very aware.
This is her temple, after all.
I think Kami will turn to Jata. Is the statue down there supposed to move?
There wasn't a statue when I was there.
This sounds like something waiting to be investigated, and Zosha's gonna start trying to move towards.
As soon as he finished saying there wasn't a statue down there, he kind of shut his mouth and kind of hurriedly started going down the stairs that are long. And
hey, stop! I'm holding on to you. I can't hear anything that's happening. She'll pull something.
He just
I told you to wait for a second. My goodness.
Sorry, you hear his voice kind of echoing back behind him as he starts going down the stairs, the spiral. And obviously the rest of you are free to follow. I just want to make sure everyone's going and no one's staying back.
Yeah.
Okay. But as everybody makes it down the stairs, whoever is first behind him kind of immediately hears him gasp and then say, lady, you're gonna... And then as you guys are walking in, you see him already on his knees and his head down and bowed, and the rest of you walk into a similar scene of a room that is kind of vaguely oval-shaped with greenery in every corner pretty much, as well as 4 pedestals with vases with, again, abundant, lush greenery. The crystals that surround this incredibly large platform that reaches about 10 feet high and seems to be about 12 feet long. And on top of that seems to be an even larger statue that almost hurts your neck craning up to look at this, as the room itself doesn't seem to be very deep before you walk in, and there's this enormous statue. And looking up, the ceiling doesn't even seem to be sort of a ceiling. Instead, it almost reminds you of those sort of underground lakes where the ground just kind of opens up naturally and sunlight or moonlight just seems to come in naturally. And this room is positively glowing in moonlight. As you walk in, the air itself seems to kind of twinkle and sparkle as you are here. And after taking a second to look at the scene, as you guys are looking down at Jata, who is kneeling, while Lanitana got the look of him before, the rest of you are not seeing the sort of tanned but long brown-haired, scruffy sort of looking man that you saw outside. In this glowing, sparkling moonlight, instead you see a very dark-skinned man with short hair and a scar a very fresh-looking scar that is across one of his eyes that kind of rendered it sort of pale and opaque. And a large claw wound against his throat that, as you see him leaning over and praying, you can see parts of the throat actually moving the vocal cords past the skin that has been torn up, and it gives you a good idea as to why he speaks the way he speaks. But in the armor that he is wearing, the damages, the death blows are a little bit more obvious. He looks as though he was perhaps a few glancing blows from swords and weapons, but claw marks did most of the damage, and it looked like his chest had been torn open along with his throat. But he stays there and prays, and I will move you guys to the new map so you can get a look at you guys see, and as everybody is sort of taking this in, the statue does indeed seem to move. Her head initially craning down at Jata, eyes still glowing, but she turns her gaze towards the rest of you as well. And for those who did get good visions, clearer visions of the goddess fighting and asking for help, this very much matches. Her weapon is different. It's not the glaive that you usually saw in the vision, but here she is wielding a sword and a shield. And she looks over all of you.
Laitana will get next to Jata and just do the same thing, like get in their cross-legged bow.
And she slowly seems to move her head to each one of you, slowly, one by one.
Why is the statue moving?
It must be perhaps our last chance. And you see him kind of looking up, and as he does so, you hear more kind of stone grinding against stone as her jaw seems to kind of almost like unhinging itself from perhaps being closed for so long, like reworking the muscles. But the mouth does kind of fall open initially, and after a little adjusting, you hear a familiar voice. So, you have all made it.
Yeah, you made sure of that.
I made sure you were in the correct destination. And through your strength and through your work, you have made it here. This is the last stand that I have. Should this fall, then it will be very difficult for me to aid you any further. But while I have you here, let me lend you my strength. Find a crystal and set your hand upon it.
Chrysanthemum's already running over to her crystal.
Yeah, so is Zosha. She's immediately like, yep.
I got this, don't worry. Everyone's rushing over.
I think Laitana maybe has one of the crystals that they were given. I think maybe they'll hold that.
Okay, sounds good.
You're also gonna check around for if any are a little loose. Have a little give to them.
Oh.
Give me an investigation check while you're there. You're a little too fascinated with the idea of a blessing right now, I guess. It's just I don't know. I want to give Kami and Plek. I did see Plek move over. I'm assuming you're touching.
Yeah, he's gonna wait till somebody else touches it or another one, and then put his hand on.
Yeah, I think Kami is going to sort of absorb that, this statue is maybe the avatar of a goddess. Put on her shield and go into a fighting stance that Plek taught her. And just say, so you are the one that kidnapped me and enlisted me to fight in your war.
I mean, yeah, it sucks, but are you really going to fight a statue, Kami?
Why should I help you?
You don't need to. You're welcome to leave. I apologize for taking you against your will. But in my brief moment, I saw those who might be interested in helping. Perhaps I chose incorrectly with you.
I mean, me too, but we're just here. Just... What else are you going to do? What else are you going to do, Kami? We've talked about this before. None of us, well, maybe me, none of us can just walk out to the edge of the forest. Fine. We would have done that by now, no?
What is at stake here? What happens if you lose?
If she loses, then Malar gains control over the moon domain. He is gaining in strength. He has already destroyed 3 gods. If he takes out a warrior goddess, he will go after the others. And he will be stronger than he is now. This is for the balance of the deities.
Chrysanthemum, when he says that, like almost like leans her head back and she goes, "Oh, why did you have to say that? Oh." I mean, I was going to help anyway. I have to give a shit about this. Ugh.
If
Seems
there
like
is
it's for the greater good.
If there is imbalance, make no mistake that it will affect you. Even those who find nothing to worship.
She'll turn up to the statue. You are offering me a boon.
I
Is
am.
that right? She's going to sigh. Like, I don't think she would do this if, like, it was her and a goddess. Like, yeah, like, let's stop this other god from taking my domain. I think she's doing it because, like, the people around her have sacrificed a lot to get here. And she can see that Zosha's hand is already on the crystal. So if this is a trick or something that happens out of this, she wants to be, like, with her when that goes down. So she'll walk next to Zosha and put a hand next to her crystal.
See, it's not so bad. Yet. Hopefully not at all.
Each of you feel a familiar warmth that Lanitana is likely the most familiar with at this point. But it is comforting, and it is overwhelming. And the glow of the crystals that you put your hands on seem to kind of get so bright that almost everything else is washed out, and the only clarity you can see is your own reflection in each of these crystals. And each of you gets yet another reflection of the face of the statue that is not too far away, sort of looking back at you. And none of this is said out loud, and each of you are hearing this in your own minds. But you hear, life, death, or knowledge. Which do you choose?
Knowledge. Wait, is strength on the table?
As you ask this, you hear, if strength is your concern, then I would suggest death.
It's rather ominous.
Oh, man.
Take knowledge.
Acknowledge. All right. I will wait for everyone's responses before I let you know what happens. Would you mind typing it in just so I make sure I know what everyone picks? Just because I'll forget.
I'm gonna put it in the Discord.
Is there one you recommend for, like, protecting people?
That would be life.
Cool. Yeah, that one.
2, 3. Just waiting for Anita. If you have any response.
Ooh. Bad. I think that Kami turned to, like, Zosha, like, for a prompt to that. Like, hearing, oh, you chose life. Looks back at this goddess, I want to see what death does personally, and hearing that like that's the option for strength. Yeah, Kami's gonna go with death and like sort of say it as like a bit of a challenge. Like doesn't is is not like liking any of this really. Again, you're like, yes, make a choice. You don't know what like the answer is gonna be, but like choose. And this is pissing her off. But she goes ahead. Death.
Death. Gotcha. All right. So starting from the top, as you say knowledge, Plek, you see Ariana's face kind of disappear for just a second, and you start seeing the vague shapes of sort of humanoids and beastly creatures, like the silhouettes still within that crystal reflection, kind of flashing up in front of you. And each one has little spots on them that seems to glow just a little bit brighter than the rest of their silhouette. And it kind of fades, and then another one shows up, and more spots kind of show up, and then fades. And as this happens, you hear, I will impart with you the knowledge of where to hit. May your strikes be deadly, and may you hit where you need. So write down that between the numbers 17 through 20, those will be your crit range.
Oh, shit! Damn!
Thank you. Most generous.
Use it well.
I'll try.
And moving off to Lanitana. You have chosen life. Can I ask why?
We always choose life. Preserve. Future. Yeah.
So sorry.
Like, that's mine!
I'm so sorry.
Does being wrong get a choice?
Actually-
No.
It's because Bingo Boingo is just like hugging one of the crystals in the background. I apologize. This little cat's like, I'm gonna fuck everyone up.
That's a true cat.
Have you seen him big again?
Yeah, exactly.
Like a muscle.
Exactly.
Sorry.
No, you're good. So she asks you why you were choosing life, and I believe you said you always try and choose life. I forgot. I'm sorry, my cat destroyed me. Go ahead.
Without life, there is no future.
I agree. Let's make sure that you and your friends have a future. And you have Death Ward on you. And along with that, you and everybody else get 5 hit points to your maximum hit points.
Nice.
Nice.
And moving to Chrysanthemum, as you hold out your knowledge. There's more cats. She responds to you. Knowledge is important to you. Tell me how.
Knowledge is power, and power is money. Keeps me alive, keeps me fed.
Keeping you alive is the important part. So, let's make sure you stay alive as well. And for you, let me just double check something really quick. I had something specific for you.
Did you mishear me? I did say knowledge, not like. I was just kidding.
Yeah, no, you're good. Okay. I was making sure I didn't fuck up because I was possibly getting these things ready depending on what you guys chose. But for you, your spell attack and your DC go up by 1.
Ooh!
That's nice.
And after that, she moves to Zosha. And you chose life as well.
Yep. Surprised me too.
Is it because of your inner conflict? Your struggle?
No, I picked life because there's somebody I want to protect.
Somebody you would like to protect? We can
Yeah,
work
that's
with
more
that.
important, I think. Yeah.
You realize you must be alive in order to protect them.
Yeah, probably that has better odds of working out.
So, let's work with that. And you get an upgrade to your spell Shield. You can now cast it twice. You have 2 reactions where you can cast Shield twice, and you can cast it on yourself or anybody else that you can see within 30 feet.
Cool.
Cool.
I read Boingo and I was like, and then we get to Death Boingo. Sorry.
Boingo dead.
She moves to Kami afterwards. And you chose death. Can I ask why?
For a very long time now, I have been on a quest to get stronger. And I'm seeing that if I want to get stronger with my magic, with anything, I'm going to have to pick up some new skills. You said you could help me?
I can. We will make sure that whatever damage you deal is done correctly. And that whenever you do deal damage, it will help you in the future. For those you slay only add to your spells and power and experience. So then, do your spells and watch them land. So, whenever you cast a spell that does damage, you get to roll a d6 of extra damage.
Right.
And as all of this is happening, and each of you are kind of holding onto your crystals, as some of you, I suppose, whenever you decide to sort of detach, the kneeling form of Jata has changed. Though he still seems to be his true self, instead of the sort of raggedy, ripped apart armor and clothing that he once wore, is now adorned in sparkling, brilliant armor. And he did have a mace on his side, but it also looked a bit worn, a bit rusty, and now it is shiny and rather ornate. Certainly a little bit cleaner than you remember it looking. With his eyes closed, there's a part of you that wonders if he even recognizes it yet, or if he is so deep in prayer that he hasn't recognized it. But each of you pull away with your new blessings, and Jata slowly starts to stand, and still looking up at her though. And the statue slowly moves her head between each of you. There is a fight ahead for you, and I will do my best to fight beside you. And I apologize for those who do not want to be here. She looks directly at Kami. But I will see that you are all rewarded, should we be successful. And considering the timing, I think this is actually a pretty good spot for us to take our break. So if you guys have any questions about your blessings or anything like that, you can ask me then. But we're going to take a quick 10-ish minute break. I think that's what it is. I'm a professional. We'll be back in a little bit. Bye-bye. back. Thank you for being here with us. The team just met what seems to have been a statue/avatar of Yoriana, and each of them got to choose their boons. So with various blessings spread throughout the team, and Jata kind of taking on a different form, his true form, but also with armor that certainly seems much nicer than he had before. The team is recently blessed, and Jata is geared up at the moment. But we're catching back up with the team after just getting these blessings. And as each one of you kind of pull away from the crystals, the room still very much seems to twinkle and shimmer with the moonlight. But you can see the statue seems to be kind of moving back to perhaps a more inert stance. But her eyes still glow as she's slowly kind of shifting herself back to become a resting statue, as most statues do.
Zosha would take her hand from the crystal and just like gently put it on Kami's like elbow and like look at her. I will be here to guard your back while you're getting stronger. Okay?
And I am here for you, though. I know that.
I do. I just want you to know that I do understand what you mean, and I am here to support you in those goals, whatever that might look like.
Oh God. Yeah. Kami was feeling a little like heartbroken, like when we woke up and like switched for watch, and she wanted to rush to her best friend about a crush that she had, and she and like she sees how difficult this is for you, and it touches her. Like she tears up, and she's gonna like give you a really big hug, and say, "Thank you, Zosha. That means so much to me."
I mean, like, what kind of person would I be if I let like some gods and cultists get in the way of like us, right? Like that would be silly. So, yeah. Anyway, that's all.
Yeah. I think she's going to grab your hand. And turn to the rest of the group. And just ask, okay, are we ready?
Hey, Jata, you're Jata now. You're not Neville anymore.
You're muted.
Muted.
In there you go. There
I'm not
you go.
muted anymore. Sorry, my cat was meowing real loud, and I was trying to spare you guys.
How dare you?
Don't ever silence.
He genuinely put
Never,
his mouth like 5
ever.
inches from the mic and meowed.
Never ever fucking mute your cat ever again. Or so fucking help me.
They were having a beautiful moment. I didn't want Nubs to rain on anyway. Sorry about that. But as you mentioned, Jata, he kind of like looks down at himself and is, yeah, the armor is new, but this is. I think I have more abilities as well. I think I can actually help you guys as well. More than before.
Yeah,
And
looks like it.
I will also mention, I can't be healed by normal means, so if I don't look great, don't heal me. Save that for yourselves.
Interesting.
Can I make some sort of medicine check to like corroborate that?
Medicine or religion, whichever one you would prefer.
Alright.
I keep coming back to the
So-
death in all caps from the cat. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Mother, I want to kill. Can I? How do I word this? So I'm deducing that this motherfucker is undead, or at least like that's something like that.
Mhm.
Am I aware of any concoction or herbs or otherwise that can mend undead flesh?
Oh, that's very interesting. You can give me a medicine check as well. That's very cool. Okay, as you're doing that, Kami is taking a moment to kind of think about it. He is undead. You're pretty sure about that. But considering his god has brought him back, like he should maybe kind of act like it's weird. You're not quite sure why it's working out that way. But I will say, even with prior knowledge, you do recall that when Lanitana was rushing to come heal him in battle with the goblins and the ogre, that he stopped her then. So that's probably been a constant that he's been aware of. And for Chrysanthemum, taking a moment.
I'll have dabbled in necromancy once or twice, maybe.
Exactly.
Or
Because of
be my
your
mentor.
with your spooky background, it will make sense. This episode should just be Chrysanthemum spooky. So you're, kind of going back on your teachings and just the things that you've learned. There aren't things that necessarily heal dead things. Dead tissue simply does not come back. It is simply dead. However, there are things that kind of aid it in a way. A not very pleasant way. Interestingly enough, the first thing that you kind of start thinking about are the things that attack a decomposing body. And not because they're destroying it, but because they're actually eating away at the parts that might not need to be there to make it a little bit more efficient. And as more as the body decomposes, more of it goes as well. This is getting a little graphic, but the first things that you kind of start thinking about are certain kinds of fungus. As they do kind of tend to go for the weaker parts, the parts that can kind of be more ripened and be rid of, or perhaps make more efficient, or tie back into some sort of life form. The other thing you think of, which you don't really have on you at the moment, as weird as it sounds, maybe maggots of some kind, something that eats away at what is inefficient anymore and leaves what can still be used. So maybe some of those mushrooms you saw outside?
What
all
about
kinds.
that? What about also, I don't know if we've seen any still among the trees in the forest surrounding this area, but like collecting giant spider web to kind of keep body parts together.
Hold the body on.
'Cause it's
Yeah,
sticky.
there's nothing that would stop like the physical holding together of a corpse if you wanted to. Yeah, that wouldn't necessarily heal, but it would hold them together. If Jata's arm falls off, you're pretty positive you could grab a spider web and stick it back on if you needed to.
I did collect a lot of fungus when we first saw it.
Mhm.
Anything that I knew that could like be helpful.
Okay, you did get a 20 on your medicine. I will say, because of the nature of the ones that you were collecting, none of them were necessarily near corpses. They were more just sort of about the forest. So those particular
Okay, so I
ones
would
probably
need to
wouldn't
go-
help you.
Yeah.
Right, but if you took a look around, not the grave, because the graveyard is protected by Ariana, and therefore there doesn't seem to be any fungus there. But if you walked around an area where there may be some decaying, then you could probably find something.
Okay. She will just, as Jetta is making that comment, she'll turn and say, I'll probably be able to do something if we find something on our walk to the champion, which, given the terrain that we've ever been around, probably won't be very hard to find.
Okay.
So you might be able to stick around a little longer than you think.
I mean, I'm not sure I can die. Again.
I mean, we can find out.
I have a feeling I will.
Sure, but we don't know how long it'll take for you to come back if that's the case. So the longer that we can prolong you, being here right now when we need you.
Will be doing my best to make sure I don't die. But
yes,
I simply said that to make sure that your priorities were with each other.
Of course, but now, you're all entangled in this as well, and it doesn't really take me much to apply some fungus, essentially.
Are you gonna, rub mushrooms on me?
Like, if she needs
Sure,
to.
let's go with that.
Yeah, why not?
Listen, I don't think you want to hear the details of how it all works, darling.
Hey,
just trust me.
Jata, I have a question. Is your goddess, gonna look at us right now and magically reset all of the spell slots on our character sheets? Or do we need to, lay down and, rest for approximately 8 hours?
What the fuck are you talking about?
If you need to rest, then we can do that.
Yeah, we should probably rest before we get into any more nonsense, right? I mean, I'm a little low on what I have to offer personally, so...
How long until sunup?
You guys have been, it's been, pardon me as I remember what the time was. I don't think it's terribly long. It's definitely less than 8 hours. I think I'd probably put it at 4 hours or so before sunup.
We started sleeping at noon yesterday, right?
Yeah.
Actually,
Right.
very-
This is D&D,
I'm trying to
time
remember,
isn't real.
Yeah. I mean, I also, for me, I do count long rests even if you're not unconscious. So if you guys are, chilling for 8 hours, hardcore chilling, then that could also be a long rest. It's not necessarily, we took an 8-hour sleep and then we were awake for 4 hours and then took another 8 hours sleep. Just so you know from a mechanical perspective.
Cool. I mean, 4 hours is fine too. Anything.
I will.
I'm fine.
The poor wizard.
Yeah, just
Please,
let me rest.
Yeah. I will also mention that the rest of the cultists will not wait until we are fully healed. But we know Kausvena will.
So we can expect that attack. I only need about an hour or so. Oh! Do you have, any sharpened sticks?
Yeah, I suppose we could. Why?
Do you mind if I make traps in your graveyard?
No? Sure.
Excellent. We know they like to get close, right?
Oh, if they can, I understand. Yes, of course, we could do that.
I could help
with
you.
the
I don't
rest.
really rest at all.
He just hands you a shovel.
No. I could sharpen some
Do you wanna
sticks
sharpen
and help you
sticks?
with the actual trap making. I'm not doing any digging. It would be more efficient if you did the more, strength-based things.
Sure. There's more than one jump. Everyone do it.
Like, I don't know if pythons burrow. I'm not sure if they do. I think they do. Yeah.
That
Like,
would be
I would.
terrifying.
Just out of the ground. Just out of the ground. Just
Yeah. I would volunteer Simon to help, but like other than that, that's fine.
That's amazing.
Yeah, like I think we can like reliably get away with the short rats. But like I feel like just sitting here for 8 hours
Yeah,
like my
short's fine. Yeah. Mhm.
I mean, I could make a lot of acid in 8 hours.
however
Sorry,
long it
I
takes
also.
everyone. I'd like however long it takes everyone to be prepared is
4 hours would be great. Because I can do my arcane recovery, so. In 4 hours, so,
You can do your arcane recovery in 1 hour.
Mine says within a short rest.
Yeah, and that's 1 hour.
Oh, see, everyone I play with has it as 4, so.
Oh, I apologize then. I should have
No.
made that.
No, you're good.
Yep.
Just a
Uh,
misunderstanding. Cool. I can do it in 1 hour.
Well, that being said, I
Actually-
did say that you guys got a short rest on your way when Jata was walking you over.
Oh, that's
Because
true.
you guys were just walking and it was light activity.
Hey, we don't have to rest at all, actually. I checked in with myself and reassessed the situation, and I am ready and raring to go whenever you all are.
yeah. All right.
Are you sure? Because like 2 minutes ago, you really needed one.
Yeah, it's misunderstood.
Like a second win?
Yeah, sort of like that. Yeah, I don't have that, but sort of like that.
Okay,
Oh.
sure. You know,
it seems that we have a choice. Either make our way to Kausvena or hole up here and set traps to await Kausvena's minions.
I will defer to you.
We would rather not wait for them to come. We'd rather.
I'm tired
Ray
of
waits.
being on the defensive.
agreed.
Yeah, that's not really how I works. So I would much prefer to be on the offensive.
Well, then I believe we have a bit of a walk ahead of us. Stay close and keep your eyes peeled. There may be some on the trail, as I had found before. But if they are preparing as we have been, then maybe they're waiting at the location instead.
Then
But-
let's not keep them waiting.
Let's not.
Eyes are super peeled. Zosha will even like move slower to scan more as they travel, like being intense.
So,
Is this is it night we're traveling, or is it
yes,
daytime?
it's still night.
Okay, then I think Lyta can go first, but mechanically
Okay.
also like I'm gonna give Fleck the Vigilant Blessing as kind of like an after effect of the enhance ability thing.
Yeah, buddy.
So you just get like advantage on initiative.
Initiative. Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops.
Puck will be behind.
Okay, actually, yes. If you guys don't mind, you can give me a blah, blah, blah. what's the word I'm looking for here?
Perception.
Marching order.
An order, marching order. Thank you, marching order. That's it. Thank you very much. Jata's going to be in the front, but on this line, if you guys don't mind lining up, so I know. I gotta move Jata a little bit because he's going to be closer to the front. So wherever you guys want on that line, so I just know how you guys are moving. Also, I should probably use his updated token, but who knows where I put that. Okay. Chrysanthemum, if you don't mind nudging yourself in on that line so I know where you are. You can be next to someone too. It doesn't need to be like a perfectly straight line, but
I'm fine with this. Honestly, be in the middle, safest place.
right in the middle. We're good. Don't worry. All right, that's fine. Just making sure everyone knows where they are. Okay, don't know where it is. Great. All right, so I believe some people were trying to keep their eyes out.
Yes, looking so much looking.
Looking real hard. All right. If you're looky-looing, then I will need your perception check as you're going about. If it's more to like see that if like there's a shadow in the corner or something, or if it's more like I am investigating the ground, any tracks, any like broken leaves kind of thing, I can give you like an investigation or a survival or something like that. But if it is very much like my eyes are up and I'm trying to see if anything's moving, that would be a little more.
It is more like academic in approach in terms of like, can I sense or see that anyone would have been around here anytime soon?
Right.
So it
Okay.
is more
Yeah.
investigative in nature.
Yes. I will give you that. Absolutely.
Oh my! That's a +7.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's a natural 2.
I rolled
my
a
God.
2. Zosha thinks everything's great. Everything's fine. Nothing's been better.
Honestly, you're taken aback a little bit, right? You just spoke with a goddess, you're pretty sure? Never done that before. That guy's dead and also holy? That's weird. There's a lot of strange things happening right now.
There's
Poor
too
Zosha.
much. There's too much going on. My brain hurts.
Oh. Is there anyone else who'd like to do anything on
Yeah.
the way as you're...
I think Lighton's going to just kind of every so often just kind of like scout out a little bit, make sure there's
Sure.
nothing following or coming in front of us. All right.
Oh. I'll also be Chrysanthemum will be keeping an eye out for any decomposing material that has fungus on it.
Funny.
Yes. You can roll a perception check as well. Or perception or nature, whichever you prefer. Trying to poke out what will
Nature.
work.
Hell, obvious.
Oh no! Oh no!
Don't
Okay,
matter,
okay.
baby.
We're getting the bad rolls out now. It's fine. We're good to
Feels
go.
are-
Damn. Well,
Oh,
thankfully,
no.
Jetta's just an NPC.
Yeah, everything's fine. It doesn't matter. So he was pretty sure he was gonna die, so we're just gonna make sure that
Yeah,
happens
right.
now.
Again.
Oh, you know what?
Again.
I'll grab some spiderweb.
Oh yeah, the spider webs. Yep, you're just gonna stick them together. That's the
Yep,
plan now.
yep.
It's no longer.
I'm gonna wrap them around his elbow pauldrons like they're extra, like just extra cushioning for his fucking knee pads and elbow pads.
Oh my god, he's just gonna be like, thank you. I guess it's better than being smeared with mushroom.
Listen, you weren't going to be smeared with mushrooms. The way that, anyways.
Thank you. Either way. But anyone else doing anything else on the plan?
Apparently, I'm fucking
It's terrible.
snorting mushrooms. Yes. Apparently, I'm imbibing mushrooms because I can't fucking see shit. I'm just all out here like, yeah, hell yeah.
Not great. Lynn, your Lonnie-tan, excuse me, head is on a swivel, so if anything pops up, I will make sure that your character knows. But with that, everybody follows Jata out. And there is kind of a very recognizable end to Yoriana's sort of safety within her temple and even on the outside. Once you start kind of moving past those larger crystals that you walked through to get in here, you start feeling a little bit more of a chill in the air, a little bit more of that sort of wrong smell of the forest, things that remind you that things are still very, very wrong here. But in that little haven, things were kind of regular, minus the violence that had been wrought not too long ago. But walking out, the grass returns to its sort of unnatural yellowish, orangey color, and in some places kind of crunches under your feet, and then the next step almost feels like it sloshes. It's just this strange amalgamation of an unhealthy environment. But you guys follow behind Jata, who is kind of doing his best to keep you kind of off a trail, making sure that you're not terribly visible. But it does make it so that perhaps the shorter member of the team and Blingo might not be having the easiest time navigating through some of the rather large vines and unruly mushrooms that have seemingly sprung up from this area. And some of them actually are getting bigger. Initially, there were plenty of fungus of various colors and shapes and sizes, but they kind of average the regular height. Nothing too unusual. But the deeper you're getting, within the first hour or so, you're starting to see some that are taller than Plek, and getting a little close to sort of the 5-foot height range. And they seem to only be getting bigger as you go. And a few of them, even though Jata is being careful to kind of keep you away, you can see that there just seems to be a haze of spores that just hangs around each one of these, seemingly ready to kind of be blown in the wind or carried by whoever accidentally walks into them. But having taken this trail before, or at least making this trail before, Jata's careful to keep everyone a little bit further away. And Lanitana, on the way, you're a little relieved not to see any sort of humanoid figures that would otherwise kind of ping the danger dar and kind of get you on alert immediately. But instead, you're kind of recognizing, kind of similar to what you saw in the temple, but very different in coloration, and even they kind of look dried out here, but there seem to be very large vines that are kind of strewn about. And it's strange because vines often have leaves of some kind, or seemingly come from a very clear source, or climb up things, use other like foliage or even rocks as structure. But these just seem to kind of snake along the ground, and they're very thick. Some of the ones you guys are stepping over are about 2 to 3 feet in diameter, and you kind of navigating around these, and they feel strange. They feel extremely dried out. Like they look kind of crusty, almost like a bark had kind of formed over them. But anytime there's any pressure on it, it kind of gives almost like a water balloon is beneath that crusty exterior. But you guys are walking past those, and at some point, Lanitana, with your 20 perception, you're fairly certain you saw one of them kind of like twitch a little bit. But looking at it, nothing else seems to happen. But you do clock that on your way in.
I think at that point they will kind of fall back toward Kami. It's like, things like this are not our specialty, but we are having an unusual feeling about these vines. Is this anything that we should worry about?
Okay.
We think we moved.
Oh. Okay. I think I have a question for the DM.
Yeah, hit me.
So, I just, at this last level up, got this ability. It's called Land Guide, and I put it in the chat.
Wait, we're 6 level?
Like,
Oh no!
Oh,
yes, we
oh,
are.
oh, yes.
You weren't here last time. Can you level me?
Oh no! All right, good night, guys. Bye. Apparently, bye. I'm out.
We failed Mocha. I'm very sorry. We had a lot to tell you.
We're level 10 now. Actually, wild how that happened.
No one can get the benefit of Chrysanthemum's extra spell. No one gets. No one can.
Oh
no one
my
can-
god!
Bruh.
What a fucking
Bruh.
record scratch that was! Like,
Wait.
we're 6th level? I'm sorry. Go, take a moment to level up your character real quick. Make sure you have what you need. I'm very, very sorry. We totally forgot. She's been gone for a little while, okay? And I forgot. I apologize.
Hey guys, what happened last session? Did
You know
level
what?
up.
Better, better now
Don't tell her.
than
Don't
like.
tell her. Nobody tell her.
Imagine mid-combat, right?
Yeah, just like because that someone goes down. It's like, oh, we thought you had more points than that. It's like,
Oh my god.
Oh, sorry, girl. Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Really funny.
Oh, my god. Okay, I'm very sorry, Anita. Coming back to you. You have Lance because you are
Like,
6th
it's a level
level.
up. Okay, 5th level, and then I see 6th level in the little text box. I'm like,
Shit.
anyways, I'm sorry.
No problem. Okay. Continue. Sorry.
So Landstride makes it so that I can move through non-magical, difficult terrain
Mhm.
with no movement. Have I been like able to just walk through the forest easier, like just without difficult terrain for the past hour? Is this a magical forest that is magically impeding me, is what I'm asking.
This is a really interesting question,
no.
specifically based on what is happening here. So I'm actually going to leave this to Kami's expertise, which means I'm going to ask a nature check from you. And based on, I will say this is a relatively high DC, but if you hit it, I'm going to say that you will get a little more information from this, and that will also affect your ability to travel through it.
All right. Come on.
I just read the director message and it cracked me up, so I'm sorry.
All right, nature check.
No,
Oh
yay.
my God! Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. All right. Kami, you are able to move through this pretty regularly. There are things every now and then that you kind of slow yourself down just to make sure that you're being cautious. There is a magic influence to what is happening to this forest, but what it is actually doing to the forest is still through nature. So it's sort of magically enhancing nature in its own way, which makes it a little bit of both. But because you are such an expert at nature and all of your teachings and knowing what to look out for, it is misplaced natural phenomena, but you know what that phenomena is, so you know how to navigate it. So I will say, with your land stride and with your fabulous roll, yeah, you can make it through here.
Awesome. So like looking at all of that, it's like magic is causing this, but like these are not magic plants. Can I look at what Lanitana is pointing out to me and like parts that is different than like what it is?
I will keep your nature check for this because it is kind of your staying in this environment and taking note of what is here and what isn't. It is the strangest thing you've probably ever seen. This particular vine doesn't seem to be natural at all, or at least not native to this area. Like, perhaps this is better suited in a jungle, not a forest, maybe a rainforest at best, but it is not native here. And not only that, but there seems to be sort of almost as though it was forced to adapt to this environment. The bark kind of exterior that is here seems to be something that would be native to here, a regular tree of some kind, maybe an oak or birch, maybe something like that. But it looks like maybe it was manipulated to be here. But at the same time, there's a strange sense of decay only on the inside. And just from hearing everything that you've been kind of piecing together with the lycanthropy and some of the mushrooms that you've seen, these cultists seem to be very much experimenting with smashing things together that don't belong. And maybe these have a different purpose of some kind, but these vines not only are not natural, but they seem to be an experiment. And it worries you a little bit because you do remember you saw similar, not the same. Maybe they were purified because of the environment they were in, but some of them were in the temple. So maybe an attempt of some kind was made there too.
Oh, this is absolutely beautiful. Oh no, these will hurt us very badly. Try to avoid stepping on them and keep a weather eye on them as well. Jata, what is it that these vines did exactly in your home? Could you paint a picture for us? We can better understand.
They came up when they cast their ability that made the area thick and lush with plant life and whatever. But they grew very fast, and I've never seen them here. They were too big for me to remove, so I wasn't able to get them from out of the temple. But I don't know what else to tell you, unfortunately. They seemed almost like they solidified, I guess. Out here, they're and he kind of uses the end of his mace to point to like kind of poke one, and you watch as it kind of like bloop, almost like a waterbed, and you see the rest of the vine kind of jiggle a little.
Mm-mm.
They didn't do that.
They might be setting a trap for us. Keep an eye out.
Great.
But I think we should be able to avoid all of this as long as we stepped carefully.
Okay. Will do. And you see him kind of like looking down, and then wonderful. But with that new information, you guys were going to have to make this, but with the wonderful rolls, not only from Lanitana catching it, but also Kami kind of identifying that this is danger. Each of you can roll me a sort of acrobatics check. I will say with advantage because your teammates pointed this out and very much kind of, this is what we're looking out for. Be cautious. And this is a group check. So there is a DC. So if the majority of you pass, then the group passes.
You said athletics, right?
I said
Did you say-
acrobatics. Oh no, acrobatics. Also,
God,
Mocha, don't
thank
forget
God.
you have.
Okay.
Oh, okay, Mocha, you do have inspiration for the.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh man, who am I missing? Oh, Nenners. Okay. Okay. Oh wait.
Oh.
All
That's
right.
rough, buddy.
Uh,
Rough for us.
It's either very low or very high. There's no like between on these numbers.
Yep.
I will give the inspiration to.
I will say you don't need to because the group passed.
Okay.
Because like I said, if the majority of the group passed, then you're okay. And I think I'm gonna flavor it as your teammates are watching out for the two of you very much. So there are times where you would have kicked a vine or maybe kind of stumbled onto it or something, and either Plex shield or Lanitana's arm came out just in time, and or Boingo kind of wrapped around your feet to kind of redirect you. But as a team, you managed to kind of navigate safely. So well done. I don't have to read you some of the fun things that could have happened if you sprung some trap. No, it's good. It's fun. I love it.
All right.
You guys are doing awesome. But you guys continue on through, and this sort of orangey yellow grass and strange environment seems to change even more. It changes from that color to sort of a deeper pinky purpley grass instead. It's still vibrant, and that's what's so strange about it, because decay grays. It always kind of dulls out in color. There's no life to it. But here it changes, but there's still a vibrancy to everything. And after traveling for probably an hour and a half and reaching this sort of purpley, violet, even magenta kind of area, you're starting to hear running water. And it's at this point that Jata kind of slows down, and that's the orange stuff, I think. If you listen, can you hear that?
Yes.
Don't know what that is or where it's coming from, but at least I know we're still going in the right direction. I would maybe suggest we go a little quieter from here on out.
Yeah, we're really good at that.
Like bangs on his shield lately.
To the
Kami will cast Pass Without Trace.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah.
Kami out here doing good druid stuff. So as that happens, you see Jota kind of looking over everyone, and also down in his new armor, which also seems to be plate. That's a good. Thank you. It kind of looks over Kami as the area around you just seems to get just a little bit quieter around her. So with that, if all of you are advancing and stealth, I will need stealth checks from each of you. Because of the wonderful Kami, you guys all get a +10 to your rolls. Oh my god! Is that disadvantage 2 19s?
Nice.
Yo! Holy shit! Alright, hold on, I gotta get.
Oh, that was without. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
man.
am
That's a
stealthy.
32 for
Oh!
Nightmare.
Okay.
No one need it.
Oh no! Okay, hold
Oh
on.
wow.
It wasn't supposed to be an advantage, so that's a 9
Yeah, that's
with my plus.
Oh god.
the best was that wasn't even a natural 1. That was a 2, and it was a negative 1. So the lowest roll we got is 9. Yo, wait, how is the plate mail fighter the stealthiest one?
It's just short, just like
He does his
Yeah.
agilities in the morning. Keeps light on
That's
his
very
feet.
true. Oh my god, that's incredible. All right. Actually, if Boingo is walking, I'll need one from him too.
Oh Boingo.
He's probably on my shoulder.
Okay.
Going stealthy.
Then you're fine. Yeah, then don't worry about it. That's what I was like. I don't know if he is. I imagine, especially after being like, we should watch where we step. He might be like, you're not walking on your own. Okay. But you guys kind of settle into a more stealthy way of walking. It is an unnatural thing for most of this team, very clearly. And Kami, being as fascinated as you are with this environment, there are times where you are being an academic instead of being a stealther. And every time you kind of zone out and maybe like look at something, you recognize that the team is kind of moving ahead and they need to stay within a certain range of you to keep your pass without a trace. So sometimes in that like slowing down and then picking up speed again, you're accidentally kind of rustling into things. You're not like banging into something, but just sort of the plant life that you're walking through when you hurry makes rustling noises, makes sounds here and there. Thankfully, you're not like stumbling about, and a lot of that has to do with your previous roles of knowing what to look out for. So you're not to the detriment of your team in terms of getting damaged or springing a trap or anything like that. But someone probably can hear you guys shuffling about.
Zosha's like trying to play like goalie with Kami's like body between like all of the different plants and stuff too. Like she's just trying to like bring Kami back to the present moment whenever she gets the chance. Like, hey, so I'm right here, and we're walking, and sometimes you're not. So, okay.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It's just so beautiful.
It's interesting,
Like,
yeah.
grass, I'm getting
Okay,
lost.
I'm here. I'll help. Yeah. Quiet.
I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
She's struggling, but she's here. As you guys continue towards the sort of latter half, the rushing water sounds get louder. And there's a moment where Jata turns to the group, kind of stops everybody in a hushed tone, addresses everyone. These keys might be needed here. I don't think I should hold on to them, I guess. I don't know. If anyone else would like to perhaps hold them or find out where they go. I figured I would at least offer that before we make it to wherever we make it.
I'll take one.
Kami, Yeah, Kami will step forward and take a key because it's nature stuff, and not just because this is the Kausvena's room. What do you?
So he hands you the yellow one, and
Oh, I was gonna say. Never
sorry,
mind.
I heard Plek. I think Plek was gonna get the other one, right? Did I hear that correctly?
He offered to take one, but he wasn't like demanding it.
Okay, I'll leave it between the two of you because I'll say that Chrysanthemum and Plek both step up at the same time and recognize.
Yeah, I think seeing Kami take one chrysanthemum immediately, like even with Plex stepping up, she'll be like, I'll take this. I got this.
That's good.
And hands you the red one. And the two of you kind of hold these sort of crude cut, damaged looking stones in your hands. And at this moment, there does seem to still be a sort of slight glow to them. But actually, both of you can give me a perception check while you're kind of holding these in your hands. Or investigation, whichever you prefer, because you are like sitting here staring at the thing. Nice. Let's go, Kami. Oh, dang. Okay. So Kami, very much kind of like taken by it a little bit. As you're staring at it, it is crude and imperfect. But there's a strange beauty to it as well. There's sort of small veins that root through the rock. It's kind of pretty in its own way. You're a little distracted by that. But Chrysanthemum, as you hold this, you're pretty sure it's vibrating just a little bit.
I'm gonna find a rock, and I'm gonna kind of scrape it / like knock it against the rock as if I'm trying to like light or like create a spark and see what happens. Just out of curiosity, genuinely.
Okay. No, that's fine. You're good. You do kind of like scrape it, trying to see if anything will come from it. Interestingly enough, it almost seems as though it's absorbing sound. You're feeling the harsh connection between the stone and the gem of some kind in your hand, but it's making no sound as you scrape it. And it doesn't even seem to light or spark or anything. It's just like you're rubbing strange objects together that don't seem to be following nature laws.
Do you think we have 10 minutes?
Perhaps,
but we have 10 minutes. I'm going to ritual cast detect magic on these.
All right, we are close to them, and they could find
us.
Well,
keep a lookout.
Sure, I'll keep a lookout. He takes a few steps ahead and starts looking around.
Yeah, I think if we're close, like to wherever we need to be, we don't know where exactly we're going. Like,
I would say
Jata isn't like sure where exactly it is. So I think that Kami's just gonna try to look around and do a survival check to see like where are people gathering, where might be a door to Kausvena's house.
Go ahead and give me a survival check. And Plek, what are you doing? I heard you trying to talk for a second.
Plek's a little alarmed. You're casting, trying to be quiet. It's one thing to like rustling bushes, arcane murmurings. Definitely gets attention.
Can I like?
You think I fucking like scream when I cast my?
Ah! Ah! Just.
The verbal component is just detect magic. Detect magic.
Screaming. Activate. Activate.
Yep.
Alexa, detect magic.
Can Zosha investigate to see if there's any footprints or anybody hiding around or anything like that? Do a perimeter sweep pretty intensely.
if you're staying kind of footprinty, I'll leave you with investigation. But if you are like, I'm trying to clock someone, then it would be perception.
You know what? We're gonna just take a leap of faith. Hey, not
very
too bad.
nice. All right. Is anyone else wanting to do anything in the downtime so I can get checks and then let everyone know what they're doing?
Plek is doing very much the same thing. Just looking for would-be ambushers.
All right. Give me another perception check too. Also, don't worry, guys. Jatsa rolled an 8 on his perception, so he's got you guys. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Oh man, he doesn't have a bad bonus. I just rolled terrible. And Lanitana, was there anything you wanted to do?
I think a similar thing. I think, given the opportunity, I think they will use Steps of Night to kind of get a little better look of the area around above the treetop.
Okay. How far does that let you go? Is there a limit?
No, I have a minute.
Okay. Would you mind posting it if you don't mind?
Yeah.
Rise into the air. Oh, okay. So you get flying speed. Yeah. All right. So you can fly for a minute. Gotcha. Okay. You can also use this as equal to the number of times your proficiency bonus.
Yeah,
so I don't know how many times you used it before, because I know you used it
None.
like when you were crossing. Oh, because does it come back on a short rest? Or is it
Yeah.
long rest? Long
Long
rest.
Yeah.
Okay. I believe you've long rest since then, right? I don't remember. Anyway, using one charge of this, you are flying up. You get a really good view, I would say, if you're just flying for a full minute. Oh, not even full minute. Maybe 30 seconds up and 30 seconds down, even so, because you know what you're doing. Give me a perception check at advantage, and then I will go through
16.
everybody else as you're doing that. So everyone else is looking around, and Lanitana just takes up off. Upwards.
It is 100% like quieter, a lot more quiet than when they walk and just kind of clang around.
Yeah, no
With
more
their armor.
pots and pans.
Yeah.
But yes, Anita, as you are kind of more like getting a lay of the land, and excuse me, Kami, not Anita. Anita is the player. Kami is getting a lay of the land and just trying to see what here is natural that you can recognize. Bodies of water kind of have a flow to them. You can tell when you're coming up on a bank, or when the trees start to kind of clear out, and you're looking for those signs, and you're not quite finding them in a typical sense. And part of that is because you're getting almost bombarded with the amount of giant mushrooms that seem to be here. But they also seem to be they seem to be getting bigger, but they seem to be less dense, less frequent, which makes you feel like you probably have a few minutes before you probably come closer to this body of water, even if it is man-made, or even if they use their magic to redirect the flow, kind of as they did before. There is a sort of natural way that the environment will react, and you kind of reading into those clues makes you feel like you can't be more than 10 minutes away from wherever this water is. And maybe that's your destination, but that's certainly close. So I will give you that information. And as that is happening, okay, let me make sure I'm going to the right thing. Zosha is taking a look around and being very, very cautious as she's very concerned with her friends and the environment as well. Much like Lanitana, everything seems pretty good, but you swear you saw one of those giant vines twitch. It was pretty subtle, but definitely moved for a second.
Okay.
But that's what you catch.
Good things.
Yeah, good things. Jata and Plek are doing their best, but everything looks good. And Lanitana, as you are finding yourself elevated through your steps of the night and flying upwards, you start to recognize that the trees are getting more sparse the more of the direction that you were heading in you look. And getting a closer look, or a further look, I suppose, you're kind of able to go close to the top of these trees. Some of these are very, very old and very, very tall, but you can go pretty quick if you're going at it. And you can see that even the treetops seem to have changed into that like purpley, lilac and magenta of their leaves. And some of the leaves up here look bloated at times, and other times they look sort of like ashy, as if they were sort of disintegrating as you fly by them. But getting a little bit of height to you, you start to make out what seems to be sort of stony structure of some kind further up ahead. Not a temple of any kind, but something that maybe kind of cleared out a space, maybe some kind of fence of some kind. It's a little hard to make out. You do have fantastic night vision, but it is further off into the distance, and you do have tree lines ahead of you, and you can't quite make it enough to clear everything. But even in that distance, and you trying to make this stuff out, you can see what seems to be brightly colored, glowing, orangey liquid kind of seeping down from something and kind of moving down what looks like 2 or 3 tiers of land. But that seems to be the direction you're going in, and undoubtedly seems to be the direction of the running water.
Is that the same direction as the structure?
Correct.
Different direction.
Yes, the structure is kind of around that watery cascade. But that's what you catch while you're up there, and that's all the information you all get from the as you guys are all kind of coming back down. So, if that's what everybody is doing, the 10 minutes pass on your ritual cast, and you are detecting magic on your stone, correct?
Yes.
Okay. This comes back as transmutation. It doesn't seem to be a specific spell, but it is laced with transmutation.
Okay. All right. I wasn't casting identify. I was casting fucking detect magic. Is there anything else in the 30-foot radius around me?
Let me double check. Give me a perception check, if you don't mind.
And like once you're done with the casting of the spell, I can bring my stone back into your range, so you can check it out.
Yeah.
It is very much the same. They both.
Yeah. It just says I sense the presence of magic within 30 feet, so I just know it's there.
Right. Well, if there are things that are blocked from your vision, then you might have a harder time seeing. That's what the perception check is, in case there's something that's not just like overtly there. But with your fantastic perception check anyway, you're just seeing kind of the glow of all your companions' magic items. But on each one of you, there just seemed to be a little bit of divination magic.
Cool.
It doesn't take too long for you to glean that. It's probably in reference to the boons you were all given. But you are all divination touched at the moment. Jata himself seems to be emanating necromancy, divination, and transmutation.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Okay. Transmutation. The only thing with transmutation, the crystals, they have transmutation magic on them. There's a lot you can do with transmutation magic, and some of the things that you can do with transmutation magic is... Hold on. Before I say this in character and sound like a fucking idiot, let me double check the fucking magic class first. Hold on, there you go.
No problem. No worries.
Please be transmutation. Yes.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. Well, by nature, you're transmuting the properties of something. One of the spells that I don't personally use but know of, such as Alter Self, you can give yourself different qualities, let yourself do a bit better underwater, give yourself, claws and whatnot. You can also adjust things like hearing, listen through things. This didn't really seem to want to make sound and she'll like cling it against her sickle.
Again.
Does it still like kind of absorb the sound?
Yep.
Now, this is just a theory, but this could quite literally be absorbing the sound so that Kausvena can hear. Keep an eye on all her little cultists, perhaps. Or it could just be a very strange magical crystal key.
And at that exact moment, Kami, in your mind, you hear, "Your friend is very perceptive. Hello."
Oh, that's interesting. I smile and like think back. Can you hear me?
I can.
This is a beautiful terraform you've created here. I'm in awe.
Then you have good taste.
Did something I say ring a bell, Kami?
Oh, no. Just Kausvena appeared in my head. We're talking. 1 second.
I'm sorry, she what?
What?
Did what?
Huh?
We are looking for your house. Or your door. You have a key.
So Aisha, this is the person that you like trust with all your entire being, right?
Yes.
Kami,
Mm.
you know she's not on our team, right? She almost
We are
killed you.
We are trying to find her, aren't we?
She made it kind of clear
I'm
she
trying
would
to
find us.
figure out where.
Ah, yes. Just oh my god.
Should I not speak with her in my mind? It's
Absolutely,
difficult.
No!
absolutely not. You should not let evil gods.
I'm gonna
access.
try to take the crystal from her. Give me.
If
Oh.
you are contesting, then it will be a contested roll. But if you want, you can let her have it. I will leave that up to you.
I will hand over.
I'm going to pop open a vial of acid that I have and put the crystal on the ground and dump the acid on it and see if
Okay.
that does anything.
Just hers, not yours as well. Just making sure, because you have one as well.
Yeah, no. I'll do mine first.
Okay. Sounds
One and the
good.
same, I guess.
Sure.
You know what? No, fuck it. She's petty. She'll do. She's going to attempt it on Kami's first.
Okay.
Didn't Jot say that was our key to get to?
Are we? Yeah, I thought we had to keep those intact.
I'm gonna say like this is happening as she's doing it, and like Jata's also like, wait, and as you start to pour the acid, you watch as it hits, and much like the sort of sound that was absorbed or otherwise kind of adjusted in some way, instead of actually sinking in, it seems to be repelled, however violently. So whoever is close to this, I will need a dexterity saving throw as acid is somehow thrown back in everyone's direction. Which I think Jata's close. You guys let me know where you think you would be. If you would be within about 10 feet, you would have to roll.
10 feet. Wow. Holy shit.
I was failing perception checks in the bushes.
I was looking at beetles in the bush.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely right there. Let
Right,
me
yeah,
roll
yeah,
this
yeah.
negative. Let me
Wait
roll
a
this
second.
negative dex save.
Yeah, don't worry.
Uh,
Oh my
right
god.
quick.
Oh, oh, God.
Jota just like dives out of the way.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I would be within 10 feet
I don't think.
Okay.
after
No, I-
looking around.
Yeah, I'm leaving this up to your characters because at the moment we're in a sort of like theater of the mind situation. So
Yeah.
wherever you think they would be, I will trust you. But
you were on a perimeter sweep with me.
Yeah.
that's true. She was looking around too, exactly. So it kind of makes sense. And also, like, you can talk to each other without being super close. But
Yeah.
the good news is, pretty much everyone passed except for poor Kami.
Oh.
It's not bad. You only take 2 points of acid damage as it splashes back off, and much to your surprise, kind of hits you. Even the direction doesn't seem to make sense. As you were pouring downward, it should have sort of splashed out at your feet, maybe. But instead, it almost seemed like those violent science reactions where they throw like a bunch of salt into a pool or something. It shoots out at almost every angle, like a fountain in a way. And Kami, you just kind of catch a few drops along your arm that kind of seem to sizzle and burn a little bit. But you do take 2 points. And those who passed won't take any, just because it's very little damage. It's not much. But you do get a little bit of like sizzling sensation against your armor or whatever you're wearing at the time, and thankfully didn't eat through and get you.
Like Chrysanthemum just like snatches like the stone from my hand, puts it on the ground, pours acid, and then it like splashes like up and like.
So,
What the fuck are these things?
Are you doing okay, Chrysanthemum? Are you all right?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful, thank you. I'm so glad to be here
Oh,
doing work.
I think Kami will like shiver. Like pick up the stone. And say, I am here for my tribe. You don't have to worry about me.
Apparently I do, because you like to go through my things.
Oh, you are awake out.
I don't. That's fine. Because I had said retroactively a little bit of what she would have chewed Kami out at the time, but
Yeah. Oh, okay.
sorry. I
Yeah,
will say,
it's okay. It's okay because I wasn't here.
yeah, no worries. But as this is happening, Jota will kind of step up for a second and, I don't mean to be rude. I think we're very close to the enemy, and maybe this isn't the time.
And
True. I
Kami's
just really wanted to make sure that these crystals were not, I don't know, giving away our position or allowing some champion of a death god, blood god, whatever they are, to give away our position or communicate with us.
And as you kind of finish that word, all of you start to hear a very sharp howl cut through the night sky. And it doesn't seem to be far away.
There we go.
I do. But I also believe that these are our best shot at getting to our goal.
Buck's gonna form up with the rest of the group.
Regardless, they are here.
Seems to be the case. Shall we? And
Yes.
just so I know, who has each of the gems now? Because I know you picked up one. Did you leave them both on the ground, or?
I guess I'll keep the one, yeah.
Okay, so there's still one with Kami and one with Mocha, Chrysanthemum, excuse me. Okay, cool. Just so I know. But you guys continue onward, and Jota, makes his way towards the front. Just kind of seemingly dutiful at this point, and very much of the mindset of whatever you seem to be running into. If there's any way he can help, at least maybe he can soak up the damage in the beginning. So he steps up to the front and kind of continues leading you on. And the grass continues to get purple. And the vines grow more plentiful. And the running water gets louder. And as you get closer to the running water, so comes a smell that you were not anticipating. It's sweet, but also decaying. And Kami, your nature alone is enough for you to recognize that this smell is a natural decaying smell. Most people kind of only get the putrid aspect of it, but the sweetness here seems to be kind of purposefully kicked up a notch. It's still a natural decay, but it's almost floral in some way. But as you guys walk up forward, Jata kind of breaks a line through the trees first, and the mushroom, still careful to keep you all kind of away from him. But as he takes a few steps out and you see him kind of halt a little bit and then continue walking, but he kind of whispers over his shoulder, that's a lot of them. I guess get ready. And as he's walking, you see him kind of like his head kind of moving around a little bit. 7, maybe 8. And you see kind
it's
of
like a small squad. Okay.
As he's saying that, you start to see there do still seem to be those sort of large vines around this area. And you start to see one of them kind of twitching again, much like both Lanitana and Zosha clocked before. But this seems to be far more purposeful and almost violent, as the vine seems to kind of break and pull away from itself in a seemingly humanoid form. As a figure, still kind of humanoid shaped, but completely made of these strange bark but squishy vines, pulls itself free, standing a good 10 or 11 feet tall. About 3 or 4 of them detach themselves from these vines as Jata's 9, 10, and as he's saying that and you guys are kind of watching, you can make out the tiered landing spots that Lanitana noticed when she was flying. They were flying, excuse me. As some of the vines kind of seem to collect towards the top of this area, you can actually see that the vines look almost like they're bleeding. And that orange is coming out of it, and it is draping down this landscape, down the first tier and down the second. And on the first tier and the second, there seem to be sort of stone platforms built into this area. And in the center seem to be pedestals of some kind, currently housing small, glowing green gems. And beyond that, there does seem to be movement. Various cultists covered in fur, in grass, in leaves, all of which seems to be either manipulated or mutilated in some way, not unlike the corpse that you found next to the spider. A few carry trophies, various body parts, ears, hands, noses, all strung along their belts or necklaces, all kind of positioned in different locations. But each of them seem to be standing still and watching Jata and the rest of you kind of approach. I'm going to bring us to the new map and give you guys a moment to take everything in.
Yeah.
As you guys are stepping up, you're seeing all these various creatures and the orange glow as well.
Hey, it's that thing.
Oh, look at that. But as you guys kind of take all of this in, Jata's still in the front. You're not quite as close as you are on the map. I just wanted to make sure you knew what the lineup was as you guys were coming in. You're probably like towards the end of the map, but like close-ish. Because I don't know if Jata would walk his way up to within like 15 feet of one of those big vine boys and be like, "What's up? How's it going?" So walking up to this, Jata is still kind of looking around. I don't suppose they're here for conversation.
No.
Neither are we.
True.
Oh, good. You see him kind of reaching for his mace.
Should have had that out this whole time.
My mistake.
Looking at like the map,
Mm-hmm.
do I get the sense that the 2 keys we've collected might connect to the 2 like platforms with jewels in them?
They look kind of similar to the ones that you're holding, so probably.
Yeah, I will turn to I'll turn to Chrysanthemum and say 2 jewels, 2 keys.
And you don't think that might activate whatever this is and cause the entire forest to go up? That's also a possibility.
And as all this is happening, all of the figures you see are just watching in silence. And some seem to be kind of wriggling their claws or reaching for weapons or kind of swaying in their stance, but all staring quietly.
How big are those tree guys?
Those are the ones that were standing about 10 or 11 feet tall. They're
So-
considered large, if that's what you
Large?
need. Yeah.
That's exactly what I meant. Thank you.
Okay, sure. I was like, I think you mean mechanically. But just to sort of wrap up, because we are over our time by a little bit, I think we'll come back to you guys sort of stumbling across this and seeing where you guys take it from here. So, again, this was our last live recording. So after this, we're going to be pre-recording the next episode or two just to finish up the storyline. But this is very exciting. We have to get to see what happens after this. So we're going to run through everybody, make sure you know where to find everyone. Thank you again for joining us. I'm going to once again pass it off to the much missed and very happy to be here, Mocha. Where can everyone find you?
Hi, I'm Mocha. I've been playing Chrysanthemum the Witch this past I can do math, 3 hours. You can find me at MochaCutie _ at Twitter. That's MochaQT _ MochaCutie on Tumblr, and also MochaCutie _ on Instagram. I do lots of art. Let's see me around. I don't know. Brain is soupy right now. Nutters.
Okay. Well, hold on. I'm not. I'm Goblin right now.
Yeah.
I'm Nunners.
Yeah.
I play.
That's
I'm
so
not a goblin.
charming.
That's
Every
so
time it's
good.
like,
Sorry.
Oh my god.
Anywho, I play Plank, the goblin with bad hair. But you can find me at the Fuzka Twitch channel on the weekends. Again, playing some questionably dark campaigns, although hers is darker. And I think that's it. I'll pass it on to Kristen again.
okay, cool. Hi, Kristen House. If I don't hyper focus and think about what I'm gonna say, it goes off the rails, and we're already there. Kristen House at Twitch.tv / Kristen House, or on Twitter, Kristen _ House. I have been playing Zosha. She's great, going through so much. And Friday evenings at 5 p.m., you can find me at twitch.tv / Dauntless for our chaotic, queer, neurodivergent pirate D&D homebrew campaign. It's lots of fun and not stressful at all. I'm gonna pass it off to Anita.
Hey, it's Anita. I've been playing Combi tonight. You can find me at Anita the Lesbian on Twitter and on TikTok. And I will pass it, last but not least, to the spectacular Lynn.
Hey everyone, I am Lynn. Gremlin Art pretty much everywhere. On socials, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and you can catch up what I'm doing there, as well as the art that I do. And next time you'll see me is on Practical Bertha's first channel, where it's a high level D&D campaign where we are having a fancy party, and I get to be a very, very mean glamour bard.
Mean glamour bard at a fancy party. That sounds like
Yeah, that's amazing. All right, and bringing it back, I guess I'm Foos, the DM. Like I said, you can find me and Nunners on my Twitch channel here at Fooska, and Twitter at Fooska_D&D. Thank you again so much for being here with us. You'll be seeing more of us as we wrap up the story, just not at this time, but we'll let you know as soon as we can. And also, we're going to be raiding, I want to say streaming. We're raiding Gnome Ann. So we should be heading over to there pretty quickly. So hang on tight as we're going to go and raid. And thank you again for being here. And don't forget to come back tomorrow for Harsh Realms. Yay. Bye, everybody.